Alright guys, now I was debating on whether this is a album that I consider to be a 10 or a 9, but after I heard like the back end of the album, I decided fucking no. But I'm going to get into that more. Now this is the new Czarface and MF Doom collaboration, and if I pronunciated Czarface like wrong, please tell me in the comments because I'm sure you persons who probably never met these artists before, they would be proud that you know how to pronounce their fucking names. Unlike myself, who personally am proud of you for pronouncing their names fucking correctly. So hey, just like to tell you that. And now, of course, Czarface is a mixture of Inspector Deck and his friend L7, and I think ESO is in there. Yes, so ESO is also, so it's like three people collaborating together with one person, MF Doom. Now, MF Doom have been on the underground for a while. He was originally a associate of Third Base, which, of course, was a hip hop group that was very popular. And to hide his face, he hid his face so he didn't want to be popular or known all around the world. So basically, he was the first Sia. You know, how Sia hides her face, he hides his face as well. So, yeah, that's pretty much it. And of course, Inspector Deck and his friends, they are all associates of the Wu-Tang Clan, one of the best clans, or one of the best hip hop groups, period, to come out of the 90s or in hip hop in general. They're pretty great. So now on to the album. Now, the album starts out with a little interlude called Take Your Medicine, which was okay. And then you get to the next track, which actually just like kicks off the mind boggling track of me tracking these fucking lyrics because these people are not really craftsmen when it comes to like hooks, but they're definitely good at lyrics. So, of course, so we start out with Face. That's what I'm gonna call Face now. Deal with it. But we start out with Face saying that they're a boom bap ambassador, which would make sense because they're from New York. And then saying that they're harder than inmates in conjugal visits. And then they also do a reference to Live at the Barbecue, which was Nas, which, by the way, fun fact, Nas was the first non-Wu-Tang official feature on a Wu-Tang track, so yay. And then Doom comes in, and then he says that of course, that TMZ is pork, as in, probably a reference to being Muslim and how you shouldn't consume pork and how they're bad for you. So, of course, that was pretty nice. And then you get to the next track, The Badness of Madness, where, of course, there's this one line where he says, haywire and I hate liars. Like, that was a good wordplay. And then Doom have a very descripted line where he says that God's a comedian and he feeds your children to the greedy, two greedy men, which was pretty nice. Then on the track Close Talker, of course, you have Czarface talking about how they actually had to meet with MS Doom. And I like the whole thing where MF Doom, he's actually says 10 feet away. And of course, because, then there's a referencing to how he can't really hear in the mask, which of course they set up this whole duality, like they says that they make a reference to Peter Parker and the Torch and other famous team up and collaborations because of course MF Doom is the villain and Czarface is like the fucking hero, I guess, in the story. So yeah, I like that time. And the next track, of course, um, Doom has this lyric where he says a bar fight got him a bar fight with a mic got him life in prison, which, bars usually spit bars in mics. So I thought that was a very clever pun. And then Face, of course, have a nice reference to still riding the Underground Railroad, which was pretty cool. Now, Captain Crunch, which was so cool that they had to copy it twice, they had this little song called Captain Brunch, which I'm hearing it, and it's basically the same lyrics with a different beat, which I'm like, is this a remix, or was they just too lazy as hell that they just left this? Like they just added a new beat. But anywho, the song is still fucking amazing. And he has this whole little line where he says he's eating Captain Crunch for brunch. Don't get your panties in a bunch. I really like that whole multi-syllable line and stuff like that. And then Face does this whole you with a mic is like a eunuch with a hooker, which, also eunuchs are usually celibate and sometimes cut their balls off, which also he has a reference to it takes balls like a gender change, which I really thought was pretty nice. And there was also a previous line where he says Kurt Angle's temper vein, which I thought was also a pretty nice line. And then you have the end of the track where I guess they're switching into a movie because now MF Doom and Czarface is going to be a rated R7, a rated R movie that's going to star them. And then you have what is Inspector Deck of Czarface pretty much dropping a lot of movie references, which was pretty nice on the track. Don't spoil it. And he also does references to childhood games like beatboxing, breakdancing, and he also does a reference to Style Wars, which was, I think, one of hip hop's first documentary movies. He also does a reference to Crush Groove and New Jack City. I mean, all these nice hip hop movies that he did. He also does a reference to Boys in the Hood. Just a pretty nice track overall. Phantom has a very impressive beat and also much more impressive verse by Open Mike Ego. I love the reference to he should have bought Bitcoin and he sold his soul for hi-hats. So I thought that was pretty cool. Or high tops, I meant shit. And I also like to give a shout out to Face referencing how he has a phantom around me like a nigga in a ghost town. Like that hit me. That line was pretty nice. Bomb is also a pretty nice song. I like the whole referencing to they stopped manufacturing the cloth I'm cut from. And I love ESO's reference to Q-Tip. That was pretty cool. Now, the little interlude with You Mask Me, with your You Mask for It, which was a pretty much a play on You Asked for It. I thought it was pretty nice. Now, Traveling, I thought the Eazy-E reference to being ruthless was pretty nice, especially with the Lewis reference of balls of fire, because I'm pretty sure Eazy-E had balls of fire since he kind of had fucking AIDS. I'm just making a little reference, like a little fun on his name. Don't take it seriously. Please don't get butthurt. And I like the reference to his dick being in and out of holes like bullet wounds. I thought that was pretty cool. I love the modern day Gil Scott Heron reference, the whole Brand Nubians punks about to get beat down, and the whole idea of the world class wrecking crew, which was a slight diss to Dr. Dre since that was his first group before NWA. The next track has some quite good quotables. I love the line about having a flow like DiCaprio and being the wolf of all beats. I thought that was a pretty nice line. And the Lord Vader to Kylo Ren line was pretty excellent, especially since he referenced Star Wars earlier and don't spoil it. I thought that that was pretty cool. Now, Stunt Gun didn't really go off as I guess they planned. I didn't really like it that much. And I also like the next track where he says he never wore lady clothes. Like that was pretty tight. But he's still cut from a different cloth. I thought that that was a pretty rad reference. Pretty cool. And I love Doom's little reference to looking at the presidential suite from a balcony and seeing all the magic like alchemy or just a referencing the alchemy. I thought that was pretty good. And then you have the fucking track, fucking Captain Brunch. And then you have the little beat, 1 minute beat thing they had with Sleeping Dogs. I disliked it when fucking Tyler, the creator, ended it off with like a beat that was 3 minutes, but at least it was 1 minute for this time. And then you have the whole fucking album. Man, it had a bunch of great lines. I really loved it. I didn't really like the end that much, but hey, I would have gave it a 10, but shit, I'm going to give this a 8. It was still pretty nice. I love all the referencing to going back to the old school in New York where they didn't have like hooks and stuff like that. They just spit. They were just real good spitters. I love it. This quite possibly could be a classic. It's the shit. And I hope my boy Rap Reviewer really checks this album out because it's really tight. So hey, please like, subscribe, share this vid, and I'm out, guys. How did y'all feel about this new fucking Czarface album or MF Doom? Peace.